It's Lee and Carol on a Monday. We call it Money Monday because we're going to talk about money, how to make it, how not to spend it, how to invest it. We got a special guest coming on at the bottom of the hour, Hans Shiles, who's an expert, and especially for all my senior listeners, or maybe you're planning for the future, which you should be doing. He's going to help you with all of that. He's a certified financial planner and an insurance expert. He's certified in about 25 different things. He can help you out in 49 of the 50 states and the District of Columbia. So we'll be talking to Hans Shiles just a little bit later here in the show at the bottom of the hour, as a matter of fact. And good morning, and how you doing, Carol?
I'm doing good.
You feel good? Is this your favorite weather?
I love rain. I don't like hot weather.
I don't like hot weather either, but I don't like cold weather.
Remember though, last night I was telling you those clouds were scaring me. They
Yeah,
were so
you were
dark.
freaking out. It was just a little dark clouds rolling in out
No,
of the
I
ocean.
haven't seen clouds that low. It was almost like
Yeah.
when Vegas has those, what do you call them, monsoon storms?
Yeah, they can have some crazy
That's what it
ones.
reminded me of. And it had to rain hard because it was all in my kitchen.
Really?
I left my window open.
Aha!
Because I don't hear it if I'm in my bedroom.
Really?
No, my bedroom's like
I didn't hear it
soundproof.
either, but I don't think it rained really. You think it rained
It rained
really hard?
because I looked outside. I was going to
Yeah.
walk. And then the girl that stays with me said, "Oh, the rain stopped," but it didn't stop.
Mm.
It was
Yeah,
still
when
going.
I went out around 7 this morning, it was just a light drizzle kind of thing.
I usually walk in the rain, but I don't want to get sick right now.
No.
And I was up complaining as usual.
Belly aching first thing in the morning.
Well, I do because when you have two people living with you, and
Yeah,
they don't understand that if I had carpet, you would see all the dirt.
yeah.
But I have hardwood floors, and people don't realize your floors get dirty every day. And growing up in a large family, we cleaned our floors every day.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've said, I'm very OCD. I don't like dirt. And the least people could do is help me mop or sweep or wipe your messes off the counter. And
Yeah.
I get tired of getting up early and in there doing it because it shouldn't be just my job. If I can get up early, they should get up. So
Yeah.
I'm probably not the best person to have roommates.
Probably. Yeah, because not that you're too picky, but you have certain expectations, and
Well, I
most
do.
people are not going to live up to that.
But
I've come to that realization in my old age here, that I just have to not necessarily lower my standards, but not expect people to see things the way that I do.
Well, I always feel if you take a shower and you know you got a bunch of grub on you or whatever the heck, and you see the soap stuff all over the shower.
Yeah, we should do
It
that.
takes 1 minute to
Clean
wipe
it up,
down.
yeah,
I mean, I got to
absolutely.
go in there and what more can I do when you sit the stuff inside the shower with a scrub brush, and then who goes and uses all the toilet paper and you can't walk in and put another row up? You take the empty row and you just sit it on the top, but
Yeah.
your lazy ass can't go in and get a roll of toilet paper or that. So I had some gripes this morning. And what I do when I'm griping, this
Yeah.
is hilarious, but I found out I'm not the only one that does this. I'll pick up my phone and I start leaving messages, but then I keep erasing them. So here I am, I'm on there.
Well,
You know,
you-
I really don't appreciate it. And I'm going on, and then I delete it.
And
And I record again till I finally calm myself down. And then I just say, "Could you please give me a call?" Do you do that?
No. I never thought about doing that.
Well, I vent
Well, I
that
guess that-
away.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
I don't hurt nobody's feelings.
Exactly. Venting is good.
I vent into their phones, and they never hear it because I delete it maybe.
Well, one day you might mess up and not hit delete. And
No, have you ever accidentally sent the message to the person that you're talking about?
No, I don't think I've done that, but or did I? I think I have, come to think of it. I think it was in an email, as a matter of fact, and I hit reply to all. And I was telling my friend that, the other guy that was in the email, This is 15, 18 years ago in the beginning of email. Nobody really understood how to use it properly. I said, listen, that guy's not your friend. Don't listen to that crap he's talking. He's only looking out for himself. It sounds like Donald Trump, but it wasn't. But there are other people like him.
What were you doing?
I don't know.
That is sad when you do that, especially if you said something bad.
It wasn't bad. It was true.
Hey, I'm curious.
I don't feel bad when I'm telling the truth.
Why are we voting in California 67, Proposition 67, to disband plastic bags? I thought they already did that because they've been charging us.
Well, I think they're trying to. There are certain stores that have adopted the policy, but now they're trying to make it law.
Well, I don't think it should be a law because the bags they sell us are plastic.
Yeah, well, they're trying to stop using plastic as well as the paper bags.
But that's what they sell us.
I know.
I know at Home Depot you still get bags.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to go through it. I mean, look at all these. I mean, this book is seriously thick, folks. Look at that. This is the general election, California general election for November 8th. This is the official information guide. Look at that. Who's going to actually go through that manual? I don't know. Most people, I don't think, will.
Does yours have your address on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, now the one with the marijuana, a lot of younger people, which surprises me, don't vote for that. It won't go to the schools. It won't this. But I think it'll help our state tax-wise. It'll help maybe fix some of these freeways and streets.
Yeah. I mean, California needs
Plus,
additional
you're allowed
income.
to grow 6 plants, but I'm sure the wealthy will be the ones that they'll put some kind of law that only certain people.
Right? Yeah, so I've got to spend a week to read through this mess. Oh, that's too much. It's too much information. And unfortunately, I guess they have to do it during a major election because if they do it on a midterm, most people don't show up for midterms, which is a tragedy. Adjust that camera a little bit. Okay. Which is a real tragedy because every election is important. The presidential election is super important because we're picking a new leader for the country. But then 2 years later, there's a midterm every 2 years. That's when a lot of the senators and congressional members are up, some governors, state representatives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So please, folks, get out and vote every time. Don't just say, oh, well, I'm not going to vote. There's no president running. But see, if you don't vote and give the president, whoever the president is, the power in the House and the Senate to get things done, shame on you. Look at what happened with Obama. The first 2 years or so, he had the power and the control of the House and the Senate. He lost that in the midterm, and he hasn't been able to regain it for the rest of his terms. So you've got to understand the importance of voting in every election. What's up, John Austin? Thanks for checking in from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Frankie's checking in. Yeah, Frankie doesn't think anybody goes through that book, and I think most people don't. Exactly. But you should. You have to, because otherwise you don't know what you're voting on. A yes sometimes means no, and sometimes a no means yes. So you've got to be informed and understand what is really being said. Very important. Very, very important. So take some time and go through it, and do what I'm going to do is get me a legal pad and just go through the numbers, and then put a yes or no next to the one to each of them as to how I'm going to vote. But I've got to read through all of this stuff. You can listen to and watch the commercials on radio and television, but they're only going to tell you a piece of it because they have a limited amount of time to talk about whatever that proposition is. So you really need to dig a little bit deeper because they're going to tell you the highlights, the most important things that they're trying to pump or support or promote in that particular proposition. But there may be some repercussions or ripple effect from it that they don't talk about. They may say, hey, this is going to be good for the schools, this new proposition, and our kids will be better educated, but then they don't tell you they're going to raise your property taxes by 25%. So you might not be down with that increase on that tax. So on the surface, it sounds good. Anyway, we're going to talk about money today. Again, coming up at 10:30, about 14 minutes from now, we're going to have Hans Schiles, who is a certified financial planner and a chartered member in about 27 other categories. He's been doing business for about 40 years, so he should be an expert. And one of the things, and he's written a book recently, and we'll talk a little bit about his book, but one of the things that he specializes in is helping you set up for the future. After you have retired, what are you going to live off of? Just your Social Security?
Nobody has anything nowadays.
Right. Well, that's the problem. You got to think about that. You got to think about it when you're young. So to my daughter and my sons and my grandchildren, this is the kind of information they need to know
but
now.
Nowadays, what's really tough, too, is a lot of us have raised our grandkids, and the money we were saving was spent on them, raising another whole set of kids. Because I know I'm not the only one that's done that. I've met so many people that raise their grandchildren, and it's like the money you start saving at a certain age, you end up having to spend on this second family.
Sure. So, the unexpected, you got to have that surplus, if you will, for those rainy days. So, but if everybody did that, planned for the future, then you wouldn't be carrying the burden, or I wouldn't be carrying the burden for those unforeseen situations. So everybody's got to pull their own weight. And it's not really fair that mom and dad and grandma or Uncle Joe has to come in and sacrifice, because many times they're taking money and from their savings for long-term care or whatever. So you got to think that way.
Well, you're paying for college again and everything.
Everything.
Not that I paid for college with my daughters.
It's so expensive to even do that now.
Hey, what do you think of this bombing thing? Don't you kind of think that was like a setup?
Which one?
The one in North Carolina.
Oh.
He came
campaign.
out real strong against Hillary again. I mean, Hillary would never have somebody do something like that. And we know that's something his people would do, or he would do, just because they're trying to think of any way to win this. But
well, you're right. And listen, I hate to be a conspiracy thinking type person, and I'm not typically, but nothing would surprise me that no one was hurt. They obviously did it at a time when nobody was there. And it looked like it wasn't, catastrophic damage. But there was some damage, of course. Fire and smoke always cause some kind of damage. But it wouldn't surprise me if some radical Republicans did something like this. You're going to blame it on Democrats. And listen, I'm not saying that it's not a possibility. Because people do stupid stuff. People go into your yard and take your political sign because they disagree with you and have their way with it.
Is that what you were doing out the other night?
No.
You were collecting signs.
No, I haven't.
I'm just messing with you.
I haven't done that, but I have, in my younger days, go and put the candidate that I'm supporting in front of that sign of the people I don't want to win. I've done that, but I have not removed anyone's sign. No, I wouldn't do that. But I would put a bigger sign in front of their little sign. Yeah. So it's all about competition. It's having fun. But no, I would never go on someone's property and take their sign down and do anything like that. Because, I mean, you open up Pandora's box. Somebody might shoot you in the butt as you turn around walking away with their sign. But people do that. And I don't advise people to do that. That's not nice. Frankie is saying she's not feeling well, so she's going to lay in bed and read this telephone book with all the California propositions in it. And many other states are voting on various things as well. I think there's at least 10 other states that are talking about legalizing marijuana for recreational or medical purposes.
Well, I think pharmaceuticals will hate that because
No,
they're
they're going to love
finding
it.
out. I know sometimes when I'm not feeling great or something's really bothering me, and like I told you, when I was younger, yeah, I smoked a lot of weed,
Yeah.
but I find sometimes I'll have a joint at the house and I'll take a hit, and it seems to just mellow me
Mellow you
out.
out. Yeah.
Because it's like a person that takes a drink, and people say to me, "Oh, well, that's a drug." I go, "What's the difference?" I see more drunks sitting around
Mm-hmm.
than anything. But I think it's good if they legalize it.
Well, I think it's probably going to go down here in California. There's a huge need for additional income for the state. And when you look at states like Colorado that passed this same law, I think that, and they're making more money than they ever thought. They've got a surplus of money now. They've gone from being in the red to in the black.
Yeah, but you got to be real careful with those edibles. Numerous people have ended up in hospitals over that edibles because
Yeah.
just because you got a whole brownie, it doesn't mean you eat the whole thing. Maybe take a bite.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard a lot of people end up at emergency, and there's nothing they can really do. It's not like I think when people used to snort coke, and didn't they shoot something in them, or is that just a movie I'd seen, Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Is that true? They shoot something in them to bring them down. Remember
They
in Pulp
can. Sure.
Fiction,
Yeah.
Uma Thurman did a bunch of coke or something, and they shot something in her.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, they can do
Oh,
that. Sure. Absolutely. They also have sodium pentothal to make people tell the truth that are lying like hell. I'd like to see Donald Trump under some sodium pentothal. Let's do Hillary too. Let's do them all.
hey, is this true that Fidel Castro made a comment about Trump recently that they need to disqualify him?
Hmm.
I mean, we
I
know
haven't
he
seen it,
was
but
a
I wouldn't be
dictator,
surprised.
but maybe he sees where he messed up. I don't know. A lot of people think he's really dead, but
No, I think he's still around. He's
I do
just
too.
probably old, and just not very functional. Yeah. I'm having a debate with a lady on
On what?
LinkedIn. She's one of these knuckle dragging, nutball whack job, right wing extremists, and I've gotten under her blood, in her blood rather. She's sent me 3 messages with the voting map. Like, what's your point? She thinks that Trump is innocent and these women have lied on him and all of that. And I said to her, I'm surprised that a woman
So, what's
wouldn't.
the object of her voting map?
I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to
Isn't
it.
that him? Is he in the red or are we in the red?
No, Republicans are red and Democrats are blue, but the map that she's showing here is not accurate. It is not accurate,
But you know
Teresa.
what, Lee? There's a lot of people that have not registered. I met a girl the other day and I asked her, "Are you registered to vote?" And she said, "No, I got to." I said, "When are you going to do this?" I said, "What nationality are you, Mexican?" And she was. "Were your parents born here?" "No." So, do you realize that one of the first things he wants to do is put Latins out of this country? And he also feels he can put their kids out that were born here, too?
Well,
I told her, you better get online and start registering now.
yeah,
Don't play
well,
around. Don't take it for granted he's won
there
or
are
he's lost.
Hispanics that are just as confused, and they have a point of view that mirrors.
Oh no, she wants Hillary in. She
Yeah.
said that, but
Okay.
she hasn't registered.
Well, that's
And I talked to someone
yeah,
else that
she's
hadn't
need to get on it.
registered. I go, don't take it for granted.
right. I think the last day of registration here in the state of California is. I don't want to be like Donald Trump and tell you to go vote on November 28th.
Well, I'm glad he told him that because they'll all be there at the 28th and no one's going to be there.
It'll be over. But I think voter registration ends here in California.
He never shuts his phone off.
Yeah, I forgot. On October 28th. So get on it now. Register to vote. Don't be late. And vote your conscience. Vote for the person that you think is going to be best for you. Okay? That's the best way to do that. Look at all the facts. Look at each candidate. Do your own due diligence. Go to their website. Read what they stand for, what they're saying is good for America. And if you agree with that, then you vote for that person. But be an informed voter. Don't go by what you hear on the news. Do your own due diligence.
Did you see that on the news where this guy runs into a house to save the dog because the house is burning?
Mm-hmm.
House wasn't burning. He had taken some acid. So he runs in somebody's house to rescue their dog.
He was out there.
I guess so. I just thought it was kind of funny. It goes, hero. He's a hero.
In his own dreams. Yeah, I was watching some guys on one of these streaming media things. It wasn't Facebook Live, but it was another one. I think it was called Bebo. And this one guy was on the screen, and he was sitting there smoking a joint. And he was like in La La Land. And the conversation that he and this other guy was having, I sat there for about 10 or 12 minutes. And I got to tell you, none of it made sense. They were in their own zone. Apparently, they understood what each other was saying, but I had no clue because it was so erratic and all over the place and so incomplete in terms of their what they were saying. It was hard to follow. And I would be afraid to get high with them because it would be out there. No doubt about it.
Now, Lee, what do you think of these schools where if a child doesn't have the money to pay for his lunch, they don't feed them? I've seen where a woman got fired for that, but I don't understand that. I mean, most states have the lottery and the money's supposed to go to schools. Why shouldn't every child eat? I could see if they were like my son, when he went to a Christian school, he would purposely leave his lunch at home, or he would just not bring it. And he did this all the time. And
why?
I don't know. Laziness?
Maybe, did he like the food at the school better?
No. Laziness. So they would give him lunch. And one day they said to him, you know what, Nico? They said, Jesus fasted for 3 days or 30 days and 30 nights? They go, guess what? We're not going to feed you today. You'll remember to bring your lunch.
That might wake him up. It's
now,
nothing worse than being hungry.
He could afford to have lunch in that. There was no excuse for that.
Yeah, it was just
But
his
I was
neglect.
reading where this mother's son would come home every morning and tell her, can you make an extra lunch? But he didn't tell her why. And then he told her, he said, this one kid comes there and he only has a little container of a yogurt or something. So to find out the mother had lost her job. And this mother, he had told the mother why he was doing this. Turned out she had been homeless before, so she totally related to it.
Yeah,
and
she understood.
she went on Facebook and talked about it, and it's everywhere now because this happens a lot. All kids should be able to have a lunch.
I agree. Totally.
I know I used to hate it, though.
I used to love lunch. That was my favorite.
Well, you wouldn't if you were me. I had to bring cold scrambled egg sandwiches or a bologna sandwich.
That was my favorite class. Lunch.
And then my mother would have it wrapped in a old paper bag. We had to save our lunch bags.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember those days. Wasn't all that bad. We survived it.
It was for me because then everybody wanted to tease you.
All right, we're going to take a break, and on the other side here, we're going to talk to Hans Schiles, certified planner. We're going to talk about how to plan for your future once you have retired. You won't be sitting there with your thumb in your mouth and saying, oh my God, I have to change my lifestyle. The world is going to come to an end. But we got some answers for you, so hang on. Hans Shiles is up next on The Power of Voices with Lee and Carol.
Take a ride with us. You never know what you might learn on thepowerofvoices.com.
Hey, this is Greg Bell from the Rams Sports and Life on thepowerofvoices.com. Join me every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as I'll be talking Rams, sports, and life. And you never know who's going to join me on the show. So make sure you check out Rams, sports, and life on thepowerofvoices.com.
Attention Las Vegas residents. Olympic Cleaning Services is the company for all your green cleaning needs. Call us now, 866-984-7444. Olympic Cleaning Services specializes in residential, commercial, construction, move-in, move-out, carpet cleaning, auto detailing, and we also provide emergency services when you need it. Call us now, 866-984-7444. For all first-time customers, you'll receive 15% off. Call us now, 866-984-7444, or go to OlympicCleaningservices.com. Go green today.
I am done with my mattress. That's right, I'm not spending another night on this old bag. My new mattress comes today, and this thing is out of here. Bye-bye, mattress.
Yep, bye-bye mattress. So says you and about 1,000 other people every day. And that's a lot of old mattresses with no place to go. There's the landfill, of course, where they just take up space. But what a waste. Because you could send it to a mattress recycler, where old mattresses get broken down into steel, foam, wood, and fiber that become new steel, carpet padding, home insulation, garden mulch, biomass fuel, locomotive oil filters, and all kinds of other great stuff. So bye-bye mattress is right. But don't toss it. Recycle it. It's easy, and it's free. To find a mattress recycler in your area, visit buybuymattress.com.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Can you hear it? Change is coming. Thepowerofvoices.com.
Welcome back. Lee and Carol here on what we call Money Monday. We're talking about money, how to spend it, how to save it, how to earn it, and everything in between. And our special guest this morning and this afternoon, if you're on the East Coast, is Hans Shiles, hailing from North Carolina this afternoon out there. And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm great. The weather, that hurricane that came through here, the weather out here is, it just clears it out. We have about 2 weeks of beautiful weather where we can look at all the floodwaters.
Well, now, are you near the coast?
we're not too far. I mean, we're in the Raleigh area. We're probably an hour and a half, but close enough. A lot of the floodwaters were really between here and the coast, and we even had some problems with it right here in Boston.
Wow. Yeah, I know the North Carolina area quite well. I'm originally from Virginia, and I stayed and lived in Charlotte, North Carolina for a while. And, you know, I know the geographical layout. Raleigh's a very beautiful area, too.
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous here.
Well, now you are a certified financial planner. You are a chartered member in about 27 other categories. You got an amazing career here, and you also hold a Series 65 securities license, life and health insurance license in 49 states, plus the District of Columbia, and you've been doing this for 40 plus years. How did you get started, Hans?
Well, I was in college, and I needed a way to make money, preferably without having to get my hands dirty. And, selling insurance, I worked in the Medicare supplement business where they gave us lead cards of people that had responded and asked, this was 1976, and I had flexible hours, so it worked great in college. And I could make good money, and I've just been in it ever since. Didn't really plan to stay in it at the beginning, but so I was going to school, but I finished and moved down here to North Carolina and started building an agency.
So it was out of need versus a passion or a long-term career in terms of what you were planning to. What did you go to college for?
Well, I went to college for business, but my mom, my dad was in this as well, and my mom my grandmother didn't really, they were very educated people, and they didn't really look upon this as a profession. So it was kind of like whoever didn't do well in their thing, they ended up selling insurance, so I had kind of had that to fight my whole life, and so I was geared towards something else, like going and working for a big corporation or selling or getting an MBA or whatever. But, and maybe that's the reason I have all those professional titles. Is I've been trying to make myself as professional as I possibly can.
Well, you've done a good job. I mean, it's very impressive. You got more letters behind your name than the alphabet.
I do.
Pretty incredible. Congratulations on all your hard work. Now, let's talk to some of our younger listeners that are listening to us right now. Let's say they're 25 years old. What should they be thinking in terms of their financial future from your perspective?
Well, I mean, for starters, watch the credit card debt. I mean, I see more young people that just start spending, and, they spend a little more than they make. They go through a little bit of hard time. Some emergency comes up, and they just build up debt. And those credit cards, a lot of them carry 15, 18%, 21% interest. And it's almost like indentured servitude. You're working for the rest of your life. I just see people that are much older than what you're talking about that just really have had that their whole life and just servicing it. So get that under management. Get a plan for that. I would stop short of saying don't do that. So that would be one thing.
Right.
My dad told me something years ago. He said, John, we used to get paid once a week. Take $100 to the bank every Saturday and do that. And he says, you can do that for a whole year. You're going to have $5,000. And just write it out of your paycheck, make some extra. And he says, as soon as you get to $5,000, he said, you don't really need a plan from there. And I think you got to put a little time onto that. Maybe it's $10,000 and maybe it's $200 a week, whatever the number is. But I think what my dad was teaching me, when you're young and you don't really have any capital to speak of, and if you just get a little bit in the savings account, that doesn't really count. I mean, it's to get to a number that you've built up every week or every 2 weeks or every month to where you can start making smart financial decisions.
Yeah.
And by that I mean it's just a lot easier to apply for a loan, or sometimes you'll just think about paying cash if you've got some money sitting in the bank.
Yeah, that's where I am in my life right now. If I don't have the money, I don't buy it. And I'll save up for it and get it when I can afford it. And that way I have no debt, zero.
Yeah, and if you're young and you have people that depend on you, buy some life insurance. Just buy some term life insurance. So, and if before that, perhaps you could develop a financial plan. I think your question was kind of going, what should you do so that you're preparing for retirement, or how can you plan? I think that was your original question, and it's taken me a little while to get to it. But so I think we'll answer that. But really, where I put life insurance there is, I mean, it's just then you should insure that. If you're young, it's cheap, and if you have people that depend on you and really depend upon you completing that plan, like a spouse or some children, buy some life insurance. Now, where I would just tell you to go for anybody that's young, if you work in a place that has a 401k, or it has some type of retirement plan, or some type of retirement saving option, as much as it hurts, to go to the max for that. I mean, just, not just to the employer match, but put in the most amount that the government will let you. And, it's probably, we don't have enough time on your show to focus on really all the numbers behind that. But just trust me, you're getting a free gift from the government that if you don't have it deducted out of your paycheck, it's wasted. You can't go back and get it years later. So that would be the first savings option that I would recommend for anybody. And if you don't have a 401k, then you have the option of putting $5,000 a year in a self-directed IRA, which is very simple to open. You can open them at a bank, a stock brokerage. I can open you one right here in my office with as little as $100.
Right.
And it's another free gift from the government. So I would say start there with your savings plan.
Yeah, I got a piece of mail the other day from AARP. Now I'm 66 years old, so I'm already at that age. and it was interesting because they were pitching me on some insurance, right? So they got
what kind of insurance?
Well, let's see. It's a term rate, it looks like. The $10,000 plan was $31.99. $30,000 was $87, and $100,000 $211. Now, if you have never had insurance, or maybe you had it younger and you let it lapse and you just stopped paying for it or whatever, but by the time you get to 66 years old, most people may be drawing their Social Security by then, and $211 is a lot of money, especially if your Social Security payments are only, $1,000 or $1,500, and you've got rent or mortgage and your other living expenses. It's a pretty big chunk of money to get a $100,000 life insurance policy. What alternatives are there for that?
Okay, so now we're talking about a 66-year-old person instead of a 25-year-old person.
Exactly.
Okay? Entirely different thing, and the way you described it, I mean, this person has no life insurance.
Right.
And then, you're opening your mail, shopping for life insurance, okay, and kind of getting the one-size-fits-all. What I would caution you is, for starters, do you still have that brochure right in front of you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I mean, can you see how much that insurance pays out if you're 82 and you pass away?
Yeah, let's see. I don't know if they got that far, and at least I didn't read that far into it because it was something I wasn't interested in.
I can just tell you.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with that piece. The insurance ends at 80.
Let's see. Go ahead.
I mean, I can tell you without you doing all the reading, but you can kind of be doing that while we're going over some other things. The insurance ends at 80. I mean, so if you bought that now, paid them the $200 and some a month, not only is it expensive, it's going to go up at 70, and that's what you'll have to look on the brochure. But so you're going to get a premium increase, and then you're going to get another one at 75, and then at age 80, it's over with.
Yeah, you're right. From 70 to 74, it's $305 for that $100,000 for a male.
Yeah. Now what do you think of it?
Yeah, not much. I think I'd rather put that money in a savings account if I could afford to do that, and maybe
Well,
can you do an IRA at 70 or 80 years old?
You can if you have service income. I mean,
Okay.
if you have a job, you have a job. So as long as you have money that you take in from doing work, not a pension or something like that, or interest on your savings account for Social Security. But let's just still get back to, I mean, people get down into the weeds here of deciding now which life insurance policy we're going to buy. See how quickly I could move you there?
Yeah, yeah.
And then they go, well, it's not worth it. Well, first of all, we got to $100,000 way too quickly.
Right.
Because, you know, the typical 66-year-old person doesn't need $100,000 worth of life insurance. I said typical. Now, people that are in second marriages or late marriages, where she has her kids, I have my kids, we got to leave money to them or leave things, and now we've got to insure and have a benefit for that spouse that we're not leaving anything to, even if it's a new spouse.
Right.
But the typical person that's 66 is going to be looking at a smaller amount of insurance, and then they do not want to buy things that they get in the mail. I mean, you just think about it. It's all full of things. I just pointed out one or two things to you, and I could go through there and do a whole show on that one brochure. I already know what it says on it. Not a good move. I mean, you really you need to get with somebody that has certifications like mine, and because besides all the knowledge, we sign on to a code of ethics and a whole bunch of other compliance things that. And we represent about 100 life insurance companies, as do most professionals do in the business. So we could go through and find what's appropriate for it.
Gotcha.
Now, if we sat there and looked at you, I mean, why would you need any insurance? Are you married, Lee?
No.
Okay. Well,
let's say it's a male, unmarried, with grandchildren and children. And on a modest income, let's create a character here. Let's say a guy's getting maybe $2,000 a month from Social Security. That's his only source of income.
Okay. Does he have any assets?
Let's say that this person doesn't have any. They're renting or living in an assisted living place.
Okay. Yeah.
Or one of those 55 plus affordable housing kind of places. I'm trying to paint a picture for the average American.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, for starters, if he doesn't have anything in savings and he doesn't own his home, then he's got to. And it may not be of concern. His children may be better off than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Many times are, or in different situations, all of them. But you really can sit down and talk about his needs or desires for an inheritance, and that's not really a need. That's more of a desire.
Right.
But he also has his last expenses to worry about, and if he dies without life insurance or without some money put aside for this, I mean, minimum $10,000-$12,000 to just kind of and you hate to see somebody pass in the hat at the funeral, but that's not a joke. I mean, it's a reality.
It is.
It's a reality, and so we might just go down to a minimum of $10,000.
Right. Because I think the average funeral nowadays is around $7,000 or $8,000. If you're just doing a bare bones.
Right. And that's probably across the country. And if this guy's out in L.A. where you are, or somewhere else, it's going to be more than that. But still, you can get a bare bones thing. So you could even go down, if you just flat can't afford it, to $5,000 worth of insurance. But let's just deal with 10. And then he's got several options. One option, at an amount like $10,000 would be to buy a simplified whole life policy. And by the end of the show, I'm going to come back and I'll give you an exact price, but I don't have it sitting right here in front of me. But Mackenzie, why don't you run out and ask Tom to come up with a price for 10,000 66-year-old male on a whole life policy, okay?
And also tell us the difference between a whole life and a term.
Well, the difference is a whole life is just like it sounds. It's going to stay in force and pay off no matter whether you live to be 90 or you pass away at 72 or 100 or whenever, it's going to pay off. Term insurance is just that. What you were looking at on that brochure is term insurance.
Right.
It's going to pay off if you die before 80, and then the rate on it goes up every 5 years. With a whole life insurance, it's just one premium for the rest of your life and one amount of insurance. And we're basically talking for this guy funeral expenses.
Okay.
And we would shop from about 5 companies for that. And she's just going to come back with one because they're going to depend a little bit on health conditions. He's still going to have to answer some health questions.
Gotcha.
Now, if he's got poor health, then he can go to a graded benefit policy or a policy that if he passes in the first 2 years, there's no benefits. Or actually, the premiums he paid in will be returned to his family.
Gotcha.
Plus 10%. But if he makes it 2 years, then after that, it's just the same as any other whole life policy.
Okay.
And you can buy those without any health conditions. So, if this guy had some money in a savings account, now he'd have the choice of whether he buys life insurance or not. And he could buy, I can just guess at the number of this, a $10,000 whole life policy with a deposit of $6,000. So you could just pay one-time premium, $6,000.
Right.
It's worth $10,000 when you pass. It's called single premium whole life. We do a lot of that for people.
I did those for my kids when they were real young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, she just came back $59.35 a month for that $10,000 policy.
Yeah, see, that's a lot more affordable for most people. But you could go back to what your dad said, and put that $100 a week in. So at the end of a year, you got $5,200 sitting there. So if you could live 2 years, you got the $10,000 in hand. You're not going to make much interest on it, putting it in a bank account, but at least you know it's there and it's safe.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how much life insurance this 25-year-old guy could buy for $59.35.
Right, a lot.
We're talking about the 66-year-old guy,
right.
And he's had his whole life to do that, and somehow he's got no money in the bank right now.
Right.
So, the nice thing about the life insurance company taking it in is, so I don't want to get overly just selling this. I mean, we're just talking about one thing, but
sure,
it's real advisable to do this, and you can get it. You can purchase it a whole bunch of different ways, and that's why you need to sit down with a designated professional that isn't going to be just trying to hang a policy on you.
Right.
And there's a lot of that still out there.
So let's go back to that 25-year-old again, because I really want to get the younger people to understand. But I wanted to go to a person at my age level also, so I can at least show them what you should have done and how expensive saving is today versus if you start a lot younger. So let's go back to the 25-year-old. In addition to considering IRA or an insurance policy, what else should they look at? I mean, would you advise the stock market and other types of investments?
Well, here's the thing: is you can put the IRA money in the stock market.
Right.
So the IRA is just the receptacle. It's really a tax thing.
Right.
But the answer to that goes back to my original statement. Save your money in the IRA until you've maximized it, till you can't save anymore, and only start what you're talking about for your short-term savings after you've maximized your withdrawals into your IRA or 401k.
Okay.
I mean, so if we're just starting there, is that you can invest this money really any way you choose. It's inside the IRA, and then don't start the separate account until, and that's a taxable account. It's just a traditional taxable account. So the increase every year, you're going to have to pay income taxes on.
Mm-hmm.
And, now we're talking about where do we put it? It's just going to be in a regular account, whether that's at a stock brokerage or a bank or an insurance company. And then we're talking about what is it invested in. And, when you just have a small amount that you're starting with, you really don't want to go into individual stocks because first of all, you don't know anything about them.
Right.
Or even if you have read a lot about them, you don't have any experience trading them, and you don't have enough money for diversification.
Mm-hmm.
So I would point them to a financial professional like me, and you're going to probably say, well, I don't have enough money to get somebody like you. Well, first of all, I'll take anybody in because I believe in this stuff and I want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you that a lot of my work is with the grandchildren and the children of my clients, because a lot of my typical clients are your age, Lee. And
Right.
Their children and their grandchildren become clients and our clients with the savings. And you can put this money in a mutual fund or in a managed account, and you can start as little as $1,000 and get diversification across a whole bunch of companies. But you definitely need to be in the stock market with your savings. You can't put that in a bank account with less than 1% interest.
Exactly.
You might as well just put it in the
You won't live
mattress
long
to
enough
take
to
it home.
see it.
No.
Yeah. What about real estate? I mean, is that something that should be a part of the portfolio, or even some of the precious metals like gold and silver or platinum, or those types of investments?
Well, I think it should be part of the portfolio when we actually have a portfolio of some reasonable size. So now if we're back to a guy your age, and we've got a couple of $100,000, $300,000, $150,000 that we're managing, perhaps your IRA, and then now it's different advice than the 25-year-old person.
Okay.
And, we're going to use precious metals as really an alternative asset, meaning that typically when times are bad, gold goes up. It's reverse correlated with,
Right.
With the stock market and the bond market. So precious metals, anything that's going in the opposite direction of the stock market, we're going to want to put an appropriate portion, maybe 5 to 10% into that. And for this 25-year-old person that's just starting to saving, we're not going to really recommend putting anything in precious metals. As far as real estate, same ballgame. Is if you have a larger portfolio, to put some of that in real estate makes sense. If you're this young person who is just getting started, again, we probably don't need to worry about getting an apportionment of real estate. We just need to get them into the market, some mix of stocks and bonds, and perhaps a little bit of alternatives managing a mutual fund, and just kind of get them riding, because they've got a long time horizon. Now, I would say that somebody very young starting in directly owning real estate, as long as they're ready to manage it, starting with their own home, that's a good investment. And even if they buy something small that's less expensive and they fix it up, they could later rent it. I mean, it's always served me well and served most people in this country well to own a home. So, especially that they've owned for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. That's usually the first major investment that most people make, if they're lucky to be able to do that. Here in L.A., man, real estate prices are just unbelievable. They're just crazy. I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. 1,100 or 1,200 square foot house here in certain neighborhoods is $1.2 million.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Now, in North Carolina, $1.2 million will probably buy you a lot more house and land. And we're talking zero lot land out here.
Yeah, 6,000 square feet.
Yeah, exactly. Big difference. Huge difference. Probably on an acre or two.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah. That's why all the people are moving in here.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't tell them about it.
Oops. Yeah, Georgia and the Carolinas and parts of Virginia, until you get up in the northern part, the pricing is a lot more. You get a lot more cluck for your buck.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the weather is not bad. No, you can.
We like the weather.
Yeah. I mean, the hurricanes and stuff like that don't come every day. They go years without any catastrophic damage. So what other things can you share with us that you would advise the average person? We talked a little bit about insurance and IRAs and savings and those type of things. What else should someone even should consider at least?
Well, let me tell you just kind of the financial plans, because besides being an insurance agency here, we have an RIA, which is a Registered Investment Advisory.
Okay.
And then we're able to do fee-based financial planning. So, as a company, so I'm set up from a regulatory standpoint. I'm not really giving you a commercial here, but we can we can sit down with people and give them advice, and instead of hiding all our charges inside of their investments that they got to look deeply for them, we're just right up front. This is what it costs you for our advice.
Okay.
And I've set up that way so that I'm able to become a fiduciary.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm set up that way so that I'm giving advice to clients that's in their best interest. Now, when you talk about what we started doing a few years ago is writing financial plans, or you could call it selling financial plans or offering financial plans for a very inexpensive fee for average people. I mean, we do them for as little as $500, where we do a pretty comprehensive financial plan.
Okay.
And I began writing those, and it became so difficult for my clients to tell people back home what they're doing with us, because the clients themselves would understand my financial plans, but they couldn't explain them to anyone else. And that's what really made me write the book.
Yeah.
So I wrote the book that I gave you, and it covers, it's really, the financial plans were written first. So I'm right now going to answer your question, is the first content chapter in the book is Social Security. So if you haven't drawn Social Security yet, you really need to get somebody like me who can give you advice as to when to start your check. Okay? Have you already started your own check, Lee?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you've already started your own check. Now, just based upon your age, I know that your full retirement age was 66.
Right.
So you just got to full retirement, but you could have started as early as 62.
Yeah, I started at 64.
Yeah. Well, and you could have waited till you're 70.
Yeah.
But your budget or your personal preferences, I mean, you don't always have to do what people like me recommend.
Right.
It's just what we do is go through all your options. So if you've got any of your listeners that are 55 to, in their 60s, and they haven't drawn their Social Security yet, or their spouse hasn't, we need, that would be the first area that I would recommend, is that they would get advice from a professional to advise them as to what all their options are. And a lot of people think you can get this from the Social Security office, and I guess you can, but you're a lot better off paying somebody. It doesn't cost very much.
Yeah, I started drawing mine a little bit earlier because, I just figured I might not be here tomorrow.
Sure.
And I had some things I wanted to do, and I wanted to start moving around and travel a little bit and spend some time with the grandchildren. So I elected to do that at that point, and I was okay, to be able to do it.
Sure, and I would just pretty much in my head could tell you that the break-even point for that would be about 75 or 76. So in other words, if you make it to 75 or 76 and beyond, then it costs you a little bit of money for taking it early.
Okay.
If you don't make it to that age, just based upon when you did it, if you don't make it to that age, then you've gotten more money out of the Social Security system by taking it early. And if you live to be 95, it's cost you money. But in hindsight, it doesn't. Once you've taken it, it's done. There's no point in studying it.
Now, is it true that you could get a job, and let's say you're able to make more than what you're getting off your Social Security, you can cancel it and start contributing back into it? So let's say next year I decide I want to get a job again, and I can make $120,000. Good luck with that at that age. But let's just say you get lucky enough and you get a job like that, and you can start paying back into your Social Security. Is that correct?
Okay. Parts of it are correct.
Okay.
So at 66, when you turn 66, you no longer have to worry about making outside income, because before 66, when you were truly taking it early, if you made more than $15,000 in change, I don't have the exact number in my head, you would. So let's just say you made $30,000.
Okay.
You would have had to give back some of your Social Security that you took early.
Correct.
Okay, so the one rule here is if you take it before your full retirement age, which for you is 66, don't go then and get a job, or you're just going to be giving it back to them.
Yeah, right, right.
Or if you get a job, make less than $15,000 a year.
Okay.
But once you turn 66, You can make all the money you want, Lee.
Okay.
You could go right now and make $40,000 a year. You don't have to give any of your Social Security back.
I didn't know that.
But now
Yeah.
if he's paying into it, because when he does his taxes, and he's paying into Social Security again, and let's say he makes quite a bit, wouldn't that make his Social Security go up if he wasn't getting the full benefit?
No. It
So,
doesn't.
so in other words,
Is
after
every
60,
is every state different?
Well, it's by the federal government.
yeah, it's all federal.
It's all federal.
So at 66 and beyond, you don't pay into the Social Security program anymore if you went out and got
Oh
it?
no, if you're working,
Okay.
if you're 100 and you have a job and they pay you $1,000, your employer's
Okay.
going to take out 7 point something, and they're going to have to match 7 point something. What her question was, I thought, was that is that going to increase your Social Security check? And the answer is once you've elected, the answer is no.
Okay. So
Okay.
what's the point of paying into it again? You're helping the next guy at that point, correct?
Well, it's the law, though. I mean,
Okay.
that's the point of it. I mean, they're going to lock you up if you don't pay it. You know?
Right. Okay. So is there any legal way around that? Let's say I go out and set up a corporation,
Sure there is.
and then the corporation receives the money. Well, how does that money? How could I filter that money back to me without having to pay Social Security?
Well,
Or can
it better
you
be,
legally?
It better. Well, I mean, yes, you can do that, but it better be for a whole lot more money than we're talking about.
Okay.
Just meaning that you really would need to set up a subchapter S corporation.
Right.
And you would need to pay out the income as dividends, but you can really get audited on that. I mean, there's been several of these politicians that, that's one of the things they nail them on is
Yeah.
dodging the Social Security taxes. And
Okay.
it's usually for very high income people where it's done. And if it's done properly, it's not illegal, but it may be a little unethical.
Right.
So the
Questionable.
reality is, the reality is if you're less than 66 and you think you're going to work and make substantial income, don't take your Social Security.
Okay.
Just don't take it early. If you want to work, just set up your work so you make $15,000 a year or less. And if you're over 66, then you can make all the money you want. You don't have to give back any of your Social Security, but you can. You're going to need to just deal with the fact that you and your employer are going to have to pay in a payroll tax, which just supports the rest of the system.
Or 1099, and then you strapped with all the 100% of the taxes based on that gross
then
income.
you get to pay them all yourself, which is probably what you're doing right now.
Yeah. You're too smart, Hans. You've been doing this a while, haven't you?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I have a lot of self-employed clients that are right at your age. So, next chapter is really about Medicare.
Okay.
And that's the season we're in right now, and Medicare open enrollment started Saturday, goes till December 7th, and there's all kinds of advice in the book about Medicare and what you ought to do about it.
Okay.
And the one of the things about Medicare, it's the same for everybody, whether you're rich, whether you're in the middle class, or whether you're poor. Medicare is Medicare.
Right.
Now, what you pay for it and how you supplement it and how you buy, that's going to depend a lot on your situation. And we give people advice on that.
Okay.
And, as for Social Security, don't take your advice from your neighbor. I mean, don't go just do what your neighbor told you they did. That isn't necessarily, just because it was right for them doesn't mean it's right for you.
That's right. So now in terms of Medicare, there's that pays 80% of your medical needs. The other 20% you're either going to have to pay yourself, or you can get a supplemental insurance to cover that. Now, do you sell that type of insurance?
We do.
Okay.
We're one of the biggest agencies in the country.
Excellent.
Doing that. And we, the key with that is don't buy it from a one-company agent. I mean, there's all kinds of people floating around, and they only sell for one company and one type. And so they're going to just come out and explain it to you and sign you up.
Right. Because that's the only
We're an
tool.
independent agent. I used to be one of those guys for most of my career. What we're going to do is, like, we would put you in, we'd put in your zip code, whether you smoke or not, and then your age, and we decide which plan you want, because the plans are exactly the same from company to company.
Mm-hmm.
So they made it easier for people to compare plans. You'd never know it by listening to a lot of people, but so most of our clients buy Plan G, which is, there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, a bunch of different
Sure.
ones. Most people buy Plan G. It's the best value. And we're going to plug that in, and we're going to see what all the different companies charge you for a Plan G. We're not going to buy the least expensive one always, but we're going to certainly get it out of the least expensive top 5.
Okay.
Meaning that we're going to look for some company quality there and some rate stability. So we're going to pick it out of amongst the lowest.
Mm-hmm.
And we email those out to people. It's just really a neutral analysis that we get from an actuarial company. And so I would just tell people is just be caution if you just get all your stuff from one place. And I don't really want to mention any names,
Mm-hmm.
but most of this stuff is sold by one company agents. Okay?
Interesting. So,
yeah.
So when I first started taking my Social Security benefits, I looked at the supplemental insurance policies and what have you, and there was one that kind of stood out that I thought might have been the best, and that was Blue Cross, but it was also $250 a month to pay 20% of the 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Wow, that seems a little chunky,
Sure.
But that covers everything. So is that an ideal plan, or is there something better than that?
Well, there's something that's exactly the same that's much less expensive. How does that sound to you?
Okay.
What you were probably looking was the Plan F, which
I think
pays
that's what
all
it was.
the deductibles.
Yeah.
It was a Plan F.
Yep.
And I'm just going to go by what you were telling me, $250 a month. But you could first of all, you could get that for less from some very well-known companies in California, even in your zip code.
Mm-hmm.
And I would run one of these reports on you. In fact, while we're on the air, I could do that. I could just ask Mackenzie to run out and could you tell me your zip code there?
Yeah, 945.
Okay, 945. You're 66. You don't smoke, do you?
No
Okay,
smoking,
good.
no drinks, no sex,
Yeah.
nothing. I'm clean.
Oh man, I don't know about that.
I figured I'd get you laughing on that one.
Yeah. I don't know if I want that policy. That I got to give up all that.
They probably charge you more for that, huh?
Sure. Well, I mean, what I'm going to tell you is a Plan F is a Plan F. Okay. And
Okay.
you probably ascertained that that is the best plan, but you didn't have to buy it from that named company. So
Okay.
we're going to look and see what the prices are for all the companies offer. There's probably about 40 companies that'll sell a Plan F to a 66-year-old man in California.
Okay.
And you represent about 25 of them. And I'm going to tell you in a second when she comes in with the differences in price.
Good. This is
Then you can
real-time
go over-
analysis.
Yeah. Well, then you can go over to the side and you can say, well, listen, I'm going to move to the Plan G, which is almost as good. It only eliminates one $166 benefit. And everything else is the same, and the price goes down by about $400 a year. So that's why I was saying it was the best value. And again, we'll have top to bottom pricing on that.
Okay.
And,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just what the point that I want to get across to the consumers, and I outline one of these examples in my book. I have people come in to me all the time as new clients, and they'll open up and say, I want a Plan G, and I want you to run that report on me, and I want the least expensive one. And I want to compare it to this thing in the back of your book.
Right.
So I think that's one part of the book that I've explained in about 10, 12 pages
Okay.
pretty thoroughly that a person can sit down and read it, and they're able to make a decision on it.
Okay.
So, okay.
Let me while you're doing that, let me just kind of reset here. There's a number of new people have come in since we started talking, so I want to let people know that we're talking to Hans Shiles, and he is a certified planner, and we're talking insurance right now, and insurance and Social Security benefits. He has a book. Sean, Hans, please tell us the name of your book and how people can get it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, they're running a special right now on Amazon Kindle. So if you do the Kindle thing, it's just $1.99.
Wow, that's nothing.
Through the end of the week.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's normally $5.99. And we lowered it for the opening of Medicare week. And you can, it's called The Complete Cardinal Guide to Planning for and Living in Retirement. And if you go onto Amazon and you just type in my name, Hans, H-A-N-S, and then last name Scheil, S-C-H-E-I-L, and you just type that in books, and you click on it, it just brings you right to it. It also, the paper version has been lowered for, it's normally $19.95, but it's been lowered to $9.99 through the rest of the week.
Excellent.
And it goes through, and we've just talked about 2 of the chapters, but go ahead, you're still level setting here.
Okay. Yeah, so now how can people get in touch with you? Is there an office number, an email, or website?
Sure, all those things.
Okay.
So they could go with just Plan with Cardinal.
Plan with Cardinal.
The name of my company is Cardinal Retirement Planning, Inc.
Okay.
But it's Plan, just the word P-L-A-N, with, and then CARDINAL.com.
Okay.
And you go there, it's got all the other information. We don't have an 800 number because I just don't want to be one of those places, okay?
And you don't really need that anymore. Everybody's got unlimited dialing capabilities nowadays.
Sure they
so,
do.
yeah, so that's really not necessary.
When you call my office, real people answer the phone. I've got
There you go.
Mackenzie in here with me right now, and I've assistants, and we try to handle everything to completion, or at least get your question answered. But telephone number is 919-535-8261.
Repeat that again, please. 919.
919-535-8261.
Okay.
And you can email me at hans@planwithcardinal.com. So,
excellent.
And you, you know, and I look, if we like each other, and you call in, I might even send you one of those books.
There you go.
Just out in the mail, and it might cost you nothing. So, the book's doing real well, and you know, we're obviously running those specials and things, and I'd love for you to buy it as a Kindle because it you know, with Amazon, you know, when you just get some sales on there and you get some reviews, there's quite a few good reviews on it.
Excellent.
It really helps me, the author, out.
How long has the book been out now?
Book's been out since March of 2016.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to purchase the book today myself. I believe in supporting people who have good things going on, and whenever I have guests on, I always support them in that fashion, at least. And
after you get done reading it, give me a review, only if you like it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you don't like it, or you don't think it was good, just
don't say anything.
Okay?
Put your thumb in your mouth and be quiet. Yeah, no, I always have to put a little humor in there. But, you know, I think the information that you've shared with us today, at least for me, and I'm halfway informed, but I didn't understand that difference between when you get to 66, that you can earn whatever amount of money without any penalties towards or having to repay what you're receiving off of your Social Security. So that was an eye-opener for me.
Sure.
Excellent.
Great.
Good information.
Yeah.
So we have been talking about planning for your future, your retirement, whether it's an insurance policy or IRA or investing in precious metals, stock market, real estate. And this is Money Monday, and every Monday we talk money. And Hans is our special guest today. He hails from North Carolina. He did survive the flooding and the hurricane, although maybe many of his neighbors a little closer to the coast there didn't have as much luck. But I'm sure North Carolina is going to be fine and turn around, and it'll be the great state of North Carolina moving forward. Hans, I would like to invite you back on maybe another Monday so we can talk in more detail about some of the products and services that you provide for the people.
Sure. We only got through 2 chapters of the book.
Yeah, so we got a long way to go.
I did get this back in.
Okay.
So the lowest price Plan G for you is $146.69 a month. And it's out by a company called IAC, Individual Assurance Company.
Okay.
And then, there's several others still lower than $150. The most expensive one, selling exactly the same thing, was the Standard Life and Accident Insurance Company.
Okay.
It's charging $236.75 a month. Now, I don't see Blue Cross of California on here, so it must be that they don't offer the Plan G.
Yeah,
they probably only offer the Plan F.
I was living in Nevada at the time.
Oh.
And so that might make the difference.
Well, sure, and this would be even less in Nevada.
Right. Okay.
California's rates are higher than
everything is
Nevada.
higher.
So, yeah, and in North Carolina, the same Plan G for you would be about $100 a month.
$100 a month.
46. Yeah.
I'm moving to North Carolina tonight.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But that's right. You told me not to tell anybody.
There you go. All right.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show today. The information was invaluable, and I would love to have you back again so we can talk about the rest of the chapters and go through little bits about each one of them. And don't forget to go to your website. Go to his website. Hans, give us that website one more time. It's
planwithcardinal.com.
Planwithcardinal.com. And the phone number is 919-535-8261. Give him a call, and he's a nice guy. He's just a easygoing, laid back, and I'm sure he will answer all of your questions and help you get straight for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Hans, and have a great day. Be safe.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break here and come back and continue the show. It is Monday, and it's Monday, Money Monday. That's easy for me to say. We'll come back on the other side, and maybe we can get Carol back in here and talk about some money issues that she knows about. All right, we'll be right back. PowerOfVoices.com with Lee and Carol.
This is Greg Bell from the Rams Sports and Life on thepowerofvoices.com. Join me every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as I'll be talking Rams, sports, and life. And you never know who's going to join me on the show. So make sure you check out Rams, Sports, and Life on thepowerofvoices.com.
Attention Las Vegas residents. Olympic Cleaning Services is the company for all your green cleaning needs. Call us now, 866-984-7444. Olympic Cleaning Services specializes in residential, commercial, construction, move-in, move-out, carpet cleaning, auto detailing, and we also provide emergency services when you need it. Call us now, 866-984-7444. For all first-time customers, you'll receive 15% off. Call us now, 866-984-7444, or go to OlympicCleaningservices.com. Go green today.
I am done with my mattress. That's right, I'm not spending another night on this old bag. My new mattress comes today, and this thing is out of here. Bye-bye, mattress.
Yep, bye-bye mattress. So says you and about 1,000 other people every day. And that's a lot of old mattresses with no place to go. There's the landfill, of course, where they just take up space. But what a waste. Because you could send it to a mattress recycler, where old mattresses get broken down into steel, foam, wood, and fiber that become new steel, carpet padding, home insulation, garden mulch, biomass fuel, locomotive oil filters, and all kinds of other great stuff. So bye-bye mattress is right. But But don't toss it. Recycle it. It's easy. And it's free. To find a mattress recycler in your area, visit buybuymattress.com.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Can you hear it? Change is coming. Thepowerofvoices.com.
Welcome back with Lee and Carol on thepowerofvoices.com. What's up, Mike Love, Joel, Paul Porter. Who else we got in there? Dave Johnson, Charles Arrington. What's up, Chuck? Chris Bates. Everybody's in the house today, having fun on a Money Monday. You got to watch your money. You got to earn some money so you can save some money. Don't spend every dollar you earn. Don't buy everything that you see. Don't be like me and be a gadget guy.
You know, I've never been like that, but I've just raised so many people.
Yeah.
And I still take care of people.
Well, you're a kind person. You got a great heart.
I wish I wasn't. Sometimes I wish I could be a real, you know what?
You know what? You need to go to the Lee Michaels School of how to say no. You got to get there. Sometimes you just got to say no. We as parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts and all of that, we sometimes, brothers and sisters, we don't know when to say no. You know, because if we keep saying yes, guess what? The people that we're helping.
Yeah, but if you have a sick child and
that's different. But
it's a different,
just,
you know.
When you got people, family members that keep coming to you just for help because they know you got a few dollars in the bank.
No, they don't know how to save, and they go out and they party and they go on trips. And
and they come to
I'm
you
not
and say,
doing
hey,
it anymore. They'll find out what it's like to have a car repoed or whatever happens because you can only help for so long. I wanted to tell you something because you always say this. I seen this today come up where Donald Trump's son-in-law is reportedly in talks to create a post-election Trump TV network.
I've been saying it.
Because it was all over. I didn't realize his son-in-law was so wealthy.
Yeah? Who is his son-in-law?
The one that's married to Ivanka. Let me get his name for you.
So he's starting the network?
Read about. I thought you might have seen this because I guess I didn't send it to you the way I should have.
I was doing a little searching on the internet. Trump TV?
Oh, his name's Jared Kushner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he owns a lot of stuff. He's very smart. But when I seen that, I thought about you because you always say that, and I thought, they're getting it in place already. But he hates Jewish people so much. Now, the son-in-law is Jewish, from what I hear.
Okay.
Does he realize he hates Jewish people and gays? Does he realize who runs most of the entertainment industry? Jewish people and gays.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. If you go to TrumpNetwork.com, it takes you to another website. Let's see. Let's do Trump. I was looking at these possibilities over Trump Network. Okay, TrumpTV.com. Let's look at that. See who owns that. Let me double check that. No, that's Trump.com.
I don't understand, though, for The Apprentice, to know he was treating people the way he was. I mean, more and more is coming out. I mean, to call that one actress, that word he used, retarded. First of all, people don't use that word anymore.
Yeah,
it's called mentally challenged. And that's a terrible word to say. And because she was deaf, what gave him the right to even say she was mentally challenged?
Because he's an insensitive
And then another
jackass.
person that was on there, he used the N-word with them. People that worked on that are just telling you everything. And people that work behind the scenes, believe me, because I've seen many things working behind the scenes where I wish I could have ran my mouth. And I don't usually sign confidential agreements for that reason. See, because when I do my book, I really don't have to hold back.
Yeah. Well,
But I would do it
good
like
if
a
they
lot of
let you-
people do. The character, they can figure it out, and you can say it's fiction. But it's surprising sometimes with super wealthy people, just the whole 9 yards of what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've
that's
seen
right.
a lot of it. And I feel sorry for housekeepers and nannies and that, some of the way they get treated. But then I have clients that treat them great and other clients that are just horrible
Yeah.
to these people.
It is. It's a shame, and people are allowed to get away with that.
Oh, I'm sure maybe
bad
they get them
behavior.
in the end, though. They go in the kitchen and put a loogie in their food. I know I would do that. If I had to deal with that, isn't no telling what I might spit in their food or
Oh, God.
whatever. There's ways to get them.
Now, in that article you were reading, did they say the name of the network, what it was going to be?
I'll show it to you. And maybe you could read it tonight and come back tomorrow with it. It's just said it was leaked.
Yeah, well, I've been saying that from Jump Street. You know, it would not surprise me if Roger
They said
Ailes...
Trump's son-in-law turned trusted campaign advisor has approached a top media dealmaker about the possibilities of establishing a Trump TV network post-election. Kushner is a real estate heir himself who bought the New York Observer at the age of 25 in 2006. They call him the Mini-Me.
The Mini-Me?
Hey, that's right. I seen the Mini-Me on Sepulveda. Did I tell you that?
No.
A couple of weeks ago.
What is a Mini-Me?
That little Mini-Me guy that was in Austin Power.
Oh, yeah.
And he was sitting on this thing, and I got the best picture of him. I know.
Yeah. We were together that day, weren't we?
No.
No? Who was the guy that you took a picture of? We were coming back from... Where were we coming back
Oh,
from?
maybe you were. I got a great picture of him.
Yeah.
Remember, if you were in the car, I literally was stopped.
Yeah.
And they all looked. You could see him looking. But
Yeah, there were several people out there with him.
I got a great picture of him. But funny thing is he was going to marry this girl once, and she turned around and posted pictures of them having sex on YouTube. To me, that was wrong of her. But
Yeah.
I have to say I was guilty of looking at it. And it was really bizarre because, I mean, he's what, like a foot tall, if that? So can you imagine him on her? It looked like a doll or something.
Oh,
But, you know,
Lord.
if I would have been really mad, too, like he was.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
you know, that was kind of sad she would do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of us were guilty of looking at it. I think they pulled it down.
I would hope so. That's. I mean, if you're going to marry someone, why would you
Well,
want to
why
share
would
that
he let
intimate?
her shoot that while he was doing it?
Well, you know, I don't know.
You know that girl wasn't going to marry him.
She might have. Maybe she was. You know, that little fellow was ringing her
Well,
bell.
you know, it's funny. The one on Games of Thrones, you would be shocked how many women like that guy.
Yeah.
I know so many women that told me they would go out with him. He is quite charming.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a Showtime, but last night I was watching it, and he is quite humorous. Like, I don't know if people watch it, but do you watch Games of Thrones?
No, I don't.
Well, there's the dragon lady, and two of the dragons they had chained up, and he decides he's going to go down in there. You know, he's like, okay, I'm going to go down. And he goes down, and you had to see these dragons looking at him. And there was like, no way out now, dude, because all they got to do is breathe fire on you. He walks up, and he unchains one of them.
Uh-huh.
And the other one looks at him, and he goes, okay, I'm dead no matter what if they want to kill me, because I don't
Right.
even have, he takes the chain off that one, the collar.
Uh-huh.
He goes up to the top, and he looks at the guy. He said, next time I want to do something like this, stop me.
Right.
And I thought that was the greatest line, because that's what I would have thought, too, if I had did something that stupid.
Sure. Absolutely. You
So
know,
he's humorous, too. I've seen him in other movies, and I'm just shocked how many women think he is quite sexy. I don't think I'd go as far as say I like shorter men, but I don't know if I want someone that short.
Well, look at Prince. Prince was a little guy.
Well, didn't they
you know?
change the height now for what they call a midget or a dwarf to like 4'9" or 5 feet?
I don't know.
I hope
haven't
not,
heard.
because I have family members that are short,
Mm-hmm.
and I have friends that are short when the shoes come off. You know, a lot of people walk in and men think this woman's real tall. They go, wow, look at that fine, tall woman.
Yeah, right.
But
She's got
those shoes
5-inch
come off,
heels.
and
Yeah.
she's got 5-inch heels. And
Yeah.
she shrinks her. Wow, that's a beauty. I have a lot of guy friends, so they give me all the stories. How they'll wake up, they dating this woman, she's fine, and they finally going to go to bed. They said they wake up in the morning and the hair's sitting over there, and the eyelashes aren't on any longer.
Excuse me, ma'am. Who are you? How did you get here? What are you talking about? You didn't say that when we were doing it last night. Well, you're not the same person. Put all that stuff back on.
Remember I told you I was the bartender?
Yeah.
There used to be this guy that would come in, and he was what you call, I guess like you, married 37 times, but
39.
39.
Mm-hmm.
He
40.
would just date everybody, and he just thought he was so hot. So there used to be this beautiful drag queen. I don't know if anybody that lives out here remembers the Total Experience, but this drag queen
I remember that place.
hung out there.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if he might even have the sex change, but we sat there when she sat down. We just knew he was going to come on to her because we didn't tell him. And we were all
Wow,
watching
that's
him
dirty.
kissing.
That's wrong. See, here's the problem. I don't care if you're gay or lesbian.
No, I don't
trans-
either. I have gay
don't
people
care
in
about,
my family.
But don't fake me out. You don't lead me to believe that you're a woman and you're not. That's not cool.
Well, there's one at the Total Experience because that was years ago.
Uh-huh.
He married a woman
no.
that was a man before, and I
And he
think she
didn't know?
should have had no. And I think she should have had to tell him. I don't know if they stayed married or what happened, but
Had this person had the whole transformation?
Yes.
Okay, then he's not a man anymore. I guess.
yeah. Would you like to wake up to Caitlin?
Hell no.
Because what we
No,
see is
no.
photoshopped.
Yeah.
So can
No.
you imagine without the Photoshop?
No, I can't imagine. No, I cannot. I'm sorry.
And all
See,
my
Carol-
friends, and I'm never against anybody for who they are because most of my friends are gay and I love my friends.
Yeah.
I could care less who somebody dates. But when you got somebody that's a real womanizer, he deserved every bit of that. Because, he was always talking like he was the big he-man and he's all that and ain't no woman can refuse him. So he was quite fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
He deserved it. Plus, he hurt one of my friends, so hey.
Payback, huh? Wow.
And I think they were even swapping tongue.
Oh no. See, I just don't like faking. If you are who you are, just let me know. And then that gives me the option to, deal with it or not. But if you fake and you don't tell the truth, and then when the truth comes out, then the other person is feels disappointed, like they've been made a fool of. Just be honest. It's just like even in a true male-female relationship, if you are a guy, excuse me, and you like to have relationships with other guys, or if you're a woman and you also like to have relationships with other women, but you're in a male-female relationship, I think you should be honest with your mate and let them know that.
But you know what? It's weird
Up
you say
front.
that because most men, when I did date, I should have kept dating. Why did I quit? But when most men
They didn't
date,
like your
they
cats.
always try to get you for some reason to go to bed with another woman so they can watch. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, and I know a lot of guys have that fantasy.
Yeah, it ain't
Yeah, but-
fantasy with some of them. They really insist. But you know what my answer always has been?
What?
That's great because I'd love to see another man with you. That shuts them up real fast. Real fast.
Yeah, they backpedal on that one, huh? Yeah. I mean, if you, in my opinion, if you really love someone, you really care for that person, and you want to be with them, you wouldn't suggest something like that, because whether you're inviting another man into the relationship or another woman into a relationship, I think it changes the whole dynamic completely. And I just don't know how you could process your emotions and feelings after doing something like that.
See,
or even
I
suggesting
could never process that.
No,
when
I
I'm
don't think
with
I could.
a man, that's my man. And
Right.
I'm not going to share him with my friends or somebody that might be a friend of his. In
Yeah.
that case, we don't need to be together.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think nowadays the millennium generation's way different. They don't hold back as much. They're way more open.
Now,
I have lots of younger friends and girls, women especially, that go both ways. But don't look at this, because it isn't going to happen. I can't stand a woman to even put her arm on my shoulder.
you can't stand a man to put their hands on your shoulder.
No,
so
not if I
let
don't
alone a
like them,
woman.
no.
She doesn't like to hug.
No, I don't.
I'm a hugger, and I remember the first time I met her, I went to hug her, and she go, "Oh, he's a hugger." I went, "Damn, is that like a mugger or?"
I don't know what it is,
A
Lee.
predator?
I tense up. I get like a board. I just don't like that.
I mean,
and I've worked on
everybody
movie sets.
hugs.
And they'll attack me, everybody, and they all grab me and everybody. And I swear I want to vomit on them. I just don't. I don't know what it is, but when I'm with somebody, I hug.
Yeah, I've never seen you hug anybody.
Well, I'm not with anybody right
yeah.
now.
Oh, okay, that kind of person.
But if
okay.
I'm with somebody,
Okay.
I hug. But
Yeah.
I just don't want strangers to hug me.
So when you're in a relationship, Carol,
Oh, I'm good, believe me.
you are.
My relationships last long. It's me that leaves.
Okay, well, I'll ask you questions about that in a second. But do you like to spoon?
What, kiss?
No.
What does spoon mean?
Spooning. You know what that means?
No, I don't.
Like when you're laying in bed and like your back is to your mate and you're cuddling up with each other like that? That's called spooning. You never heard that, huh?
No.
Poor thing.
Well, I like to cuddle. When I
Yeah,
was
well, it's a
with
form of
my
cuddling.
guy, I love to cuddle. We would
Yeah.
roll on sides at the same time, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I can still cuddle, because when we broke up, I hated. He made me hate men at the time.
Oh, man.
He made me just hate them. The thought of being with one just, ugh.
Wait a minute, Carol. You sound like you one step away from being a lesbian.
No, he broke
Hating men?
my heart was broken. I mean, even
Dang.
though I left him, that's not saying my heart wasn't broken, but
Yeah.
that when you do something to a person and you know you have to walk from that relationship,
Yeah.
it can take years to get past it.
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
I can go around him now and I don't feel anything towards him.
No,
No.
just friends.
Yeah, because I'm too afraid of him now. I'm too afraid of him mentally and physically.
That's terrible that you.
And I get mad
went
at
through that.
myself that
Yeah.
I wouldn't date for such a long time because of the hate he put in me. I just felt if I got into another relationship, it'd be the same thing. But I realize now it wouldn't be, because I look at a lot of my friends that are still with the same man they've been with for years, and they're very happy. And I thought, I wish that could have been with us, but it couldn't have, because sometimes a man don't respect you the way he should.
Yeah, that's true. And it goes the other way as well.
Both ways. I've
Yeah.
seen women that treat men like crap.
Yeah.
And I tell those women, why you treat them like that?
Dave Johnson wants to see you, Carol.
Tell them to go on my Facebook.
Go to your Facebook page is Carol Lemire.
Lamere Carol.
Lamire
I
Carol.
changed it because I was getting harassed by these Indian guys sending me their penises. Like I wanted to see that pathetic thing.
Pathetic little thing you said.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what it is, because I didn't. When they sent it to me, I looked and I said to my daughter, I go, what is that? She goes, what do you think? I said, no. And she goes, it is. And I thought, oh, geez. I'd be embarrassed.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, well, some people just have no shame, or they're just being, funny.
No, I don't think he was being funny, because he somehow came in with another name. And
Yeah, did the same thing.
yeah, and this time he had played with it, I guess. If he did, it was still pretty pathetic. And I'm not one of these people that judge a man by that, because it has nothing to do with that. If they know how to use it, it works for me.
I hear you.
You know, and these guys go around bragging.
Carol, I just think that maybe you're just a little too picky.
Well, I think men are picky too. I think maybe a man's, but I think men are just as choicey. I really do.
You think so?
Yeah, I think sometimes, you know, a man lets that other little head rule, and sometimes they lose a woman over that, or vice versa. A man leaves a woman over her doing the same thing, but.
Dave is spelled out Lamere, Carol, Carol. Lemire Carol. She's left-handed. That's why it's backwards.
No, I told you I changed it because I was getting harassed some.
That won't change anything because I always type in Carol Lemire and it comes up anyway.
Well, I thought it was changing.
No, it doesn't. It knows who you are.
Well, you know, actually, when you can have a lot of people following you, but it's you that's got to make them where they're a friend. If you look, it'll say you have 61 friends, but you'll look down and you might have 3,000 people. Mm-hmm. But out of those people, maybe 61 are only the ones that you look at as a friend. I don't know how it really works.
Yeah, they got it all jacked up.
But I know I'm starting to get some clients out of my Facebook since I started my one for my business.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I'm starting to get response.
Now, what is your business? Because we've kind of talked about it, but not really. What do you do, actually?
Well, I told you I went to school to do special effects, but they don't let women in. Very few women can do special effects, and I was actually pretty good. I can sculpt for days, creating monster masks and that, but I gave up on it, and I started doing regular makeup and hair. And then one day I decided, wow, look at all these women of color. They wear extensions, which I mainly did black women. I go, let me go into Beverly Hills and put this on some white women. And that's what I did. And it's funny. I blew up huge.
Huge?
Oh, I couldn't
like
even do
Donald
half
Trump
the
huge?
people. Not like Donald. That's too much money.
It's too huge.
You know, if I had that kind of money, I'd probably give most of it away and share it.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, I agree.
So that's what I do now. I only do extensions, and I have men clients I do hair pieces on.
Yeah. You think you could hook me up?
No, I myself don't like a man to wear a hairpiece. I really don't.
Me either. You couldn't talk me into it. I just wanted to see what you would say. I can see it if you're an
entertainer and you're good at putting those on and hiding them.
Yeah.
But most men that wear a hairpiece, I can watch something and spot a rug in a minute.
Yeah. Rug detector.
So I'm kind of against it. I think if you're a rock star and you need longer hair, that's a different story. You're putting some extensions on them. But
I don't know.
I've always suggested to men, why don't you just shave the rest off? You know, you got a big donut on top. You look like Bosa the Clown.
Hey, don't get personal.
No, I'm talking about when it goes to the back, the receding hairline. Vice versa, same as women. But I always tell them, why don't you just shave it? Because not all women, I don't have a problem with bald-headed men. I think actually they're pretty sexy myself.
Well, some guys do look really, really
I don't have a problem
handsome.
unless he's got a head shaped like a tube or something.
I went to school to a guy, and it's so funny because everybody called him by his nickname. I don't even remember his real name, and even the teachers start calling him by the nickname.
What, Potato Head?
No, Titty Head. Anybody that went to Booker T. Washington back in Washington High School in Norfolk back in the 60s, y'all know who I'm talking about. And it's so funny because I was sitting in class one day, and the teacher says, "What, Titty Head, do you have the answer?" Everybody looked at each other like, what did she say?
Did he have long hair or was it?
No, he just had a head shaped like a boob.
Now, a lot of times they say it's because when the baby's little, you got to kind of move his head around.
Yeah, shape the head.
I don't know if that's an old wives' tale.
I think that's a wise tale.
Because they say if you lay him on his back too long, then the baby's going to have a flat head.
Flat.
So I don't know how true that is. It could be true. That's a question to ask a doctor, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to try to get, I got a couple of doctor friends, Dr. Rachel and Dr.
But, you know,
Shanika.
to be honest, I've never tripped on a man's looks.
No?
I like a guy by how he treats me or how I treat him. And I like guys, I can't stand a man if he's got grease under his nails.
I heard that. That's nasty.
And I think men are the same way. Like my nails look bad today because I haven't had time to do them. But with me, I don't go out and look for what they call the best looking man, because once you peel those looks away, that means nothing. Nothing at all. It's the man himself. And I don't have a problem if a man's heavy. I don't have a problem if he's skinny. I can whip him in shape. Believe me.
Uh-oh.
No, I really
Listen to her
don't. I
now.
really don't have a problem.
You can feed him and fatten him up if he's too skinny.
I can help him get it together, but a lot of it, like I tell people, it's funny. You might think because your man's not the most attractive, you'd be surprised how many women will go after your man still. I've never looked for the guy with the big bodybuilding body. I might look at it like other women.
Oh,
but
I don't know about that. Every time.
No.
Every
looked,
time
now
you
you
see
didn't
one,
let
you go,
me finish.
Oh, I know you go, ooh,
He didn't let me
Every
finish
time you
now.
see one, you
He didn't
go
let
nuts.
me finish. I said, I'm like other women, I will look.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that's the guy I want to date. I can honestly tell you that.
I saw you lose your mind.
I don't
the
want a
other day.
guy that's going to look in the mirror more than I am. And normally, when they look like that, every time they pass a
Yeah.
mirror, you see their head turn.
Yeah, they got issues.
Yeah, so to me, it's not, and it's vice versa. The same thing with a man. It shouldn't matter so much what a woman looks like, because once you peel all that away and the real personality's got to come out and
Right.
what she's about, it tells you a whole different story.
So, how important is it that a man, his wealth, how much money he's making or has, is that
Well,
important?
it's not my money.
But is that important to you for a man to?
No, it
Be
isn't
wealthy.
important to me. If I like somebody, why should I care? I mean, I told you before, when I was with my man, I made the most money. I told you my story.
Yeah, that
About
was a
the
hell of a
woman.
story.
It's, to me, I feel it works. If you're a partner, it shouldn't matter who makes the most.
Yeah.
You should just be there.
Yeah, because I mean, in most of my numerous, I forget how many times marriages, I was the one that made the most money. So I never looked at, well, I got to have a woman that's, making good money. I just wanted a nice person, somebody I could relate to and laugh with and have fun with and grow with and do stuff, raise a family.
Yeah, I think if you
So,
love somebody.
Never looked at it from a financial standpoint.
No, I don't want a man that's out pimping somebody or a man that isn't working. I don't want that.
No.
Or trying to work. I'm not, I could care less about big mansions and all that. It's no big. I don't think I'd want to live in a huge house. I'd be scared all the time.
Yeah, that can be, more.
Yeah, because I don't know
The
who
large
walked in
house-
that house. Somebody left the garage open, who
Yeah.
snuck in.
Yeah.
Well, that garage is open and is waiting upstairs somewhere hiding, because that does happen.
Yeah, it does. But you can't be careless in a little house or a large house. You got to know your surroundings and have your routine of safety steps and what have you.
Well, now you can actually get a security system really reasonable where you can look right on your phone. I can be here right now and
That's right.
tell you if somebody's went in my room or something.
Sure.
I had security cameras up, but that kid I told you was staying there, all of a sudden, for some reason, they were down. And I don't know what happened, but I don't
That's
know what I'd
interesting.
do anyway if I was in my room and I looked at my phone and I seen somebody in my living room. I'd be freaked out.
Well,
I'd try to figure out, do I have a bat in here? Do I have a knife? But I lock myself in my room at night. Not that they can't kick the door in.
no, at least it'll delay it for 30 seconds and maybe you can get a phone call off or a shot off.
No, by then I'll be hiding in my closet. Like maybe they'll think no one's home.
No, they probably know where you are, where you're hiding out.
Well, that's why I feel secure, because I do live in a security building.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's
Well,
that
it's gotta
easy
help.
for someone to get in.
Yeah.
I mean, it is scary. I did have a guy once, they knocked on the door, and I thought it was Federal Press, because they'll do that. They'll knock and then walk away. And I looked through the keyhole. I didn't see anybody, but I didn't open it all the way, thank gosh.
Hey, don't open it at all.
Well, I looked because I thought I had a package, and all of a sudden this guy came out from the side. I slammed that door so hard, and I hollered for Jim, the Chinese kid that lives with me. and he goes up. I said, don't. And the guy literally went back and hit again.
Knocked on the door again?
I called security and found out he had went to someone else's place and tried. And that day, someone's place did get robbed in there.
See?
That was on the bottom floor because they leave their patio door open.
That's not smart.
So I get a little nervous over, but I feel more comfortable where I'm at now than I used to live in I had a big house, and I wasn't comfortable there. Really wasn't.
Well, and I can relate to that because I've had the big house and all of that as well. And it is more to secure. You got a lot of windows, sliding doors, French doors, garage, and you got a lot to lock down.
Yeah, Josefa's asked me if I'll stay there. When she's, and with the dog, I go, oh, no. She goes, why? I go, because I'd be scared. I wouldn't sleep all night. Because I know that garage gets left open sometimes. Anybody could walk through there. And I just don't like a big house. And those houses are built on burial grounds. And me being Native American, I'm very superstitious. And I have another friend that lives up there too. And she swears there's a ghost. And I've heard Josefa say the same thing. I know you heard the story of that big picture that flew off the wall.
No, I haven't heard
nobody's
that one.
told you that story.
No.
I was at her house one day, and we were going to walk in the other room, and something tapped me. And I said to her, I thought it was just us here. And it was just us there. So there are ghosts. Don't sit and think there aren't.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, if you believe in the third dimension and that. I mean, just because your body dies, it doesn't mean everything else is gone. You know, that spirit can still be there.
That being said, when I die, just keep looking over your shoulder, okay?
Just stay out of my private room, though, when I'm naked, because I really...
Oh, no, I'm going to be all up in there.
I'll have to throw holy water on your ghost.
I'll be there with a video cam, so everybody in heaven is going to see what you're doing.
No, actually, it'd be fun one day to have people call in that have experienced things, because you don't have to be a believer, but I'm a firm believer.
Some people, I mean, really believe it.
I believe it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When my mother died, she had a certain chair she sat in, and she died having a child. And I was staying there, came there, because I had moved out and came back, and every night when I'd get up to go fix the baby a bottle, I would feel this coldness by that chair. And it just creeped me out. So it got where I wouldn't get up. I'd wrap bottles in, because I couldn't nurse the baby because it wasn't mine and I was very young. But I always felt like something was sitting in that chair, a spirit. I've felt many things happen. People that come in my house, anybody that stayed there, and I'll have them call in. Anybody that has stayed in my house tells you they feel like there's a ghost there. And I'll go, well, what do you feel?
Where you live now?
Where I live now. Sky used to always get tripped out, and my Mason gets tripped out, and the girl that's there now has said something. She said, I'll put something, and she's right, because you can put something down and go back to get it. It's not there, and 2 hours later, it's there. So people that don't believe, that's fine, but there's people like me that do believe, because I've sat with people that believe in the third and sixth dimension, that when somebody dies, you lose the body, but that spirit is still there.
Okay, I'm glad you told me about that.
American, I mean, like, you want to go to a reservation. Well, if you go to one, the best thing is sit in a seance, and you might feel a little different.
I've been through a couple of them. When I lived in New York, this was back in the 70s.
And what happened at that seance?
Ouija board.
Oh, this ain't no Ouija board now.
And seance and all of that. The person that was doing the contact with the people in the other world, I wasn't 100% convinced. I'll just put it that way. Maybe they just were not good at it. But I went twice, and we were trying to contact people that had left. And the information that they were saying just wasn't very accurate. So that's what left me a bit skeptical about it. But maybe it's
I don't know.
It's
they
real.
always say, too, like, I used to have a teacher, and he used to say, if you put your whole mind to it and you sit around a table, and let's say there's 4 of us, you can make that table move. You know, it's mind over matter. I mean, you just have to be. I'm one of those people that believe in all that. I really do. I've had too many experiences. So,
Have you moved something with your mind?
when I was younger, I felt we did.
Mm-hmm.
I felt we did with this one teacher.
Don't talk about it.
No, I'm serious. You can laugh, but
we don't want to know what you did with
There
her.
are a lot of people like me that have experienced different
Yeah.
things. I mean, have you ever been somewhere and something happens and you go, "Wow,
I feel like I've
that
been here
happened
before.
before."
Yeah. Yeah, now that I have experienced that, no doubt. No doubt.
Now you know why though. If you have a plant,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're off the air in a minute.
Yep, we're out of here. But go ahead and tell the quick story. That'll
Well,
be
if
the last
you
one.
have a plant and you decide you want to grow another piece of it, you take a piece of it and you put it in water and you reroot it.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing when women have babies. That comes from your body and it just keeps going on. It all comes from the same place. That's probably why, if you really think about it, we are probably all mixed with the same thing if you go way, 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 way back. Because it only started with two people, from my understanding.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're most probably right, as my old friend Egmont Sonderling used to say. But it's kind of scary because you could actually be having sex with your sister or mother from way back in another world. Wow. Okay, we'll leave you with that thought. That's kind of wicked. But we'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about some more crazy stuff here on The Power of Voices.
That's
Lee
the
and
only
Carol.
reason he has me here.
You bring that kind of flavor to the show, okay?
Well, sometimes we need that kind of flavor.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm not complaining. Have a safe day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And register to vote, damn it.